The doctor couldn't stop screaming when he realized what this woman gave birth to. A woman who was told by doctors that she was infertile has revealed how she gave birth to a surprise baby in her bathroom after a night out clubbing and drinking. Carla McPherson, 22, from Swansea, who has endometritis, thought she would never have kids and had the contraceptive injection regularly. But after a night of clubbing and drinking in 2019, she developed excruciating stomach pain, which she thought might be appendicitis, and just a few hours later she gave birth to a baby boy, Oscar, now 2. Carla didn't notice any weight gain and had regular periods leading up to her son's birth and had downed 8 vodka shots in a nightclub just hours before she went into labor. Since I was 15, I believed I couldn't have kids. Luckily, my boyfriend, Jaden, had never wanted kids anyway, the customer development manager said. So, like most 20-year-olds, we spent our weekends partying. I never expected I would go on a night out and end up with a baby. I'm just so thankful he was born healthy. In February 2018, Carla met electrician Jaden Mathias, now 24, and they soon became a couple, with them both enjoying regular nights out. In May 2019, they planned to go clubbing with friends one weekend. I slipped into a black bodysuit and skinny jeans. That night, my friend bought us all vodka shots. Then I drank 8 vodkas and orange. We danced the night away and had the time of our lives. But after arriving at Jaden's parents' house at 6 a.m., Carla developed stomach pains. She says, my face started burning up, and within minutes my entire body was soaked with sweat. I thought it was just the alcohol, so Jaden fetched me painkillers and I tried to sleep it off. I lay in bed for an hour in agony. Eventually, in excruciating pain, Carla crawled out of bed in tears. She says the pain was so bad, I thought it must have been appendicitis. Jaden suggested I try going to the toilet. I was about to tell him it was more serious than that when I felt an overwhelming urge. I sat on the toilet and began to push. I was terrified. I had no idea what was happening. 5 minutes later, Carla looked down and there was blood covering the toilet bowl. She says I started to feel something heavy between my thighs, and then a head appeared. I screamed for Jaden, who then went to fetch his mom. I braced myself against the wall and continued to push. Seconds later, Jaden burst through the door and quickly held out his hands to catch the baby. Carla had given birth to a boy who weighed 8 pounds 5 ounces. Soon after, Jaden's mom appeared and immediately called an ambulance. Carla says I was hysterical. I didn't believe this could be my baby and felt unable to even hold him. Carla was taken to Singleton Hospital, where the baby was given the all clear. She says I was so relieved to hear this as I knew we'd been out drinking. Moments later, my mom, Fiona, 61, arrived at the hospital. She gave me a big hug and told me everything would be fine and that she would help me look after him. But we were both in a complete state of shock. The doctor had told me that the baby was lying with his back against my back, which is why I had no bump. I couldn't get my head around the fact I was supposed to be infertile, taking the contraceptive injection, and was getting periods, yet I managed to get pregnant. The doctor told me it was extremely rare, but can happen. For the next few hours, Carla refused to hold her baby. She says, just a few hours ago, I had been a normal 20-year-old out clubbing with friends. Now I was a mother with a newborn baby. It was surreal. Eventually, the midwife convinced Carla to hold her child. She says, my heart melted as I held his tiny hand. I realized this was really my baby. And Jaden promised we would get through it together. The following day, Carla, Jaden, and the baby moved in with her parents. In the months that followed, Carla struggled to adjust. I was constantly crying. I didn't want to leave the house or let anyone hold Oscar. In time, Carla was diagnosed with postnatal depression and PTSD. Carla says after months of therapy and medication, I started to feel like myself again. Oscar is now 2 and thriving. I couldn't be happier being a mom, and I can't wait to tell Oscar the story of how he came into the world. A miracle happened. A woman is revealed how she didn't know she was pregnant until she was giving birth to her baby boy on the kitchen floor. Throughout her pregnancy, Claire Wiseman, 27, from Oxford, was able to slip into her size 10 clothes, continued to bleed every month, had no bump, and had been on the pill while having sex with her boyfriend, Ben Honey, 24. It wasn't until she was doubled over with what she thought were period cramps in April 2018 that her mother asked if she could be pregnant. I told her that there was absolutely no way. I was on the pill and had been having periods. Claire, who is also mother to daughter Millie, recalled, "But I put my hands between my legs and I felt a head. I was in so much shock." Suddenly, Mom was screaming hysterically for me to push. Minutes later, I pushed a baby out of me, and Mom said it was a boy. It was all so surreal. Baby Finley, now 2, was born weighing 7 pounds 11 ounces on the kitchen floor before mother and daughter were taken to Radcliffe Hospital, where they were joined by Ben. Claire, then 25, and Finley were both given a clean bill of health. Claire, who owns her own hair accessory company, and Ben met at the pub where they both work in 2016 and became a couple the following June. As they both lived with their parents, they took turns visiting each other's homes in Oxford. Every weekend they enjoyed nights out with their friends. For Claire's 25th birthday in April 2018, she organized a crazy golf night with her friends and family. She said, "I wore a tight top, fitted jeans, and heels. I was lucky to be a size 10 and that my figure had quickly bounced back after having Millie." That night, I drank several glasses of white wine and passion fruit martinis and had an amazing time. Days later, on my birthday, Ben and I had loads of wine at a fancy restaurant. 4 days later, Claire woke up with stomach pains. She continued, "I had to pick up Millie from her dad's, so I took a paracetamol and went to get her. After I got home, I put Millie down for a nap and the pains got even worse. I thought it must have been period pains. I had to go lay down." But 20 minutes later, Claire woke up in agony. Worried, she phoned her mother, Angie Southam, 57, a store manager. When she arrived home, Claire was sat on the toilet, doubled over in pain. Claire said, "I kept feeling its need to push, but I didn't understand why. My mom immediately called 999, and the operator said an ambulance was on the way." 1 in 450 pregnant women in the UK don't know that they're even going to have a baby until 20 weeks of their pregnancy, halfway through. And 1 in 2,500 women are oblivious to the fact until they go into labor. It's a phenomenon known as cryptic pregnancy, also referred to as pregnancy denial. Cryptic pregnancies typically affect either young women who have never experienced a pregnancy or women who believe they've gone through the menopause and choose not to use contraception. Women with erratic menstrual cycles are also more likely to miss signs that they're expecting. This is especially true among women with polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, where small cysts grow on the ovaries. The hormone imbalance often leads to irregular or non-existent periods. Women may simply not expect to find that they're pregnant if they're taking the pill, but then those taking it religiously can still become pregnant. 8 in 100 women can get pregnant while on the pill, usually not because of problems with the pill, but with the taker, either because they've missed the pill, thrown up, or had diarrhea. Another shocking situation. The Boston area mom said that in hindsight, there were pregnancy signs, but when she went into labor, she had absolutely no idea what was happening. Melissa Surjkoff's son gave her the surprise of her life. She hadn't realized she had been pregnant until she gave birth to Liam while sitting on the toilet. She laughed when she told Today parents that looking back now, there were clear signs, but at the same time her son was born, she had no idea she was pregnant. She thought she was trying to pass a kidney stone. Surjkoff, 38, said early in the morning of March 8th she thought she was experiencing intense menstrual pains. As the day progressed and the cramps got faster and more intense, she asked her fiancé, 37-year-old Donnie Campbell, to call 911 and report she was passing a kidney stone. "The only relief I would get was while I was sitting on the toilet," she said. "So I was in the bathroom and I couldn't sit still. I was screaming. I was trying not to be loud like I didn't know what this was." She said finally at one point she felt something rush out of her. "I looked in the toilet and I still didn't know what it was," she said, "and I thought basically I'd lost an organ because I didn't know." Surgekov said she stood up and didn't realize what was in the toilet bowl until her fiancé went to look. "I'm screaming. I'm freaking out. I'm in shock," she recalled. "I don't know what's going on." And Donnie went to the toilet and he rescued the baby. Campbell told Today parents that he initially thought the baby may have been feces. He said he knew to clean off the infant based on several TV shows that he'd seen before. So he did so using his sweatshirt. Then Liam started breathing. "I kept watching his stomach, and he kept breathing on his own. And then it became more of a celebration," he said. "I stood up and held him close to my heart against my body to keep him warm." Surgekov said when EMS arrived at their home, they were still expecting Campbell to be passing a kidney stone, so the baby was a surprise. They all went to the hospital, and baby Liam was found to be perfectly healthy, apart from a slight iron deficiency. Surgekov said she had always experienced irregular periods and thought she'd just gained weight as a result of the ongoing pandemic and her medication. "So if you look back now, yeah, there are clear-cut signs," she said. "Like my feet were swollen, my shoulders and upper body were swollen, and just like, gaining weight." Their family was shocked but excited to help after Liam arrived. Normal moms have 9 months to plan to do whatever, to save and get gifts and buy stuff. Surgekov said once they found out, they went into super overdrive. Surgekov and Campbell, who have been together since 2014, had planned to get married in September 2020. They postponed the wedding due to the ongoing corona pandemic, but are still planning on tying the knot now as new parents on June 18th of this year.